So it was in March 1954 that Ajahn Chah and his group of disciples arrived at Bar Pong Forest, which is about 2 or 3 kilometers outside his home village of Bangor.
How old was he and which pansa is that?
He would have been 38 at that time. So that's 18 pansas, 18 reigns, 18 years as a monk. And as you know, he was very scrupulous never to speak about his own attainments, and quite noted for that. But I think this is one conclusion that we can draw from that, is that he must have had that confidence that he'd made the breakthrough, that at least on the first level of attainment, for him to accept that invitation from his mother. I can't see him agreeing to take on that kind of responsibilities otherwise. That is speculation. So the first night that they were there, they put up their glots, their umbrellas with mosquito nets at the edge of the forest. And then the next morning there was a deputation of lay people, probably led by his mother. They offered food in the morning, and after the meal they made their way into the forest. And it was so thick and densely forested that they had to have people with machetes cutting a path into the heart of the forest. And eventually they stopped more or less in the centre of that Bar Pong forest, where that big mango tree is, which is considered the sort of the important spot in the monastery where Ajahn Chah first said, yeah, this is it. And the rest of the day the lay people would be helping to cut down the undergrowth and to create spots where monks could put up their glots and to establish a temporary presence. And then some days later, villagers were coming in and bringing in bamboo and grass to make small huts for the monks. So that was the first few days of Wat Nong Pah Pong, and there were some very interesting, strange events in those first few days. On the Uposatha day, it's the full moon, first full moon, they were there. There was a group of villagers who'd come in to chant and meditate with the monks and to listen to a Dhamma talk. So this was already, part of Ajahn Chah's way of teaching, to include the lay people and opportunities for them, particularly on the Uposatha days. And so they chanted and they were meditating, and it was 7, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that sort of time. And Ajahn Chah was giving a talk, and people were mostly sitting with their eyes closed, listening. And you know how he talked, and so the energy would build up, and his voice is becoming louder and stronger, and he never needed a microphone or sound system. Even in later days, his voice was so strong. But then suddenly he stopped, and people started to open their eyes, what's going on. And there was this incredibly bright light appearing over the top of the trees to the northwest of where they were sitting, around that mango tree. And everybody was a little bit, what's that, what's going on? And Ajahn Chah said, look, don't get excited, just sit and meditate, just don't pay any attention to it. And this light passed over their heads, quite low, over the tree canopy, and then came to us on the southeastern side of the area in which they were sitting. And once that light had disappeared and it was back to the normal moonlight again, he said, just forget all about that and listen to the Dhamma. He carried on with his Dhamma talk, and he never mentioned this again. But the following morning he took a group of lay people out with him to establish the boundaries of the forest. And it was noticeable that he went to the northwest and the southeastern points as the delimiting boundaries of the new monastery.
So it's the idea that this light was demarking the points where the monastery was supposed to be established?
Well, he certainly seemed to take that as his standard. Yeah.